Yo, welcome back to Gentle Pushes, the podcast. And it is me again. I told you last week, coming back because this is real life accountability. And what we discussed last week was accountability, discipline, and consistency. Those were our three pillars because our three pillars is what we need to build our foundation. And our foundation is what's going to keep us afloat. So we got to make sure the foundation is solid as a rock. But welcome to Gentle Push the podcast. It is, yes, of course, me. And today, what are we discussing? What are we talking about? We're catching up on last week and what happened throughout the week. Something that I did want to talk about definitely is motivation. Had a very eye-opening aha moment with my therapist in regards to motivation. And I was telling her, piggybacking on the last episode when I was, asking, saying all these whys, and want to quit and give up and delete my pages and stuff like that. And she'd be just like, if you're looking for motivation is it's not gonna come from wherever you think it's gonna come from. Motivation is not just sitting somewhere. It's not a feeling. It's not, motivation comes after doing. And I'm just like, what? So you telling me I gotta do something? Then when I do it, then I feel motivated to do it. And if you sit back and think about it, motivation comes after doing. You do what they call them runs, the marathons, and you realize you can do it. You feel encouraged. You feel motivated. Like, dang, okay. Cooking a new recipe. It's like, ooh, I want to cook some more often. Like, anytime you do something, you get this wow moment, this eureka moment that I did it. Like, I did it. And that there is the motivation. That is the spark. That is the sensational feeling, that instant gratification sensational moment that you get in wanting to push further and push ahead to want to do more. So it's just like motivation's only going to come after doing. And it's just like, well, it's a little too late. I done already did it. So, I didn't need the motivation. What you needed was the discipline. What you needed was the consistency. What you needed was the will to do it. And that is the initial factors, the initial effort, the initial I'm gonna do it, I can do it thing. And if I would have knew about the motivation in the perspective that I have it now, I look at motivation a little differently now. Because let's be honest, how many people have seen those YouTube videos, those quotes and everything, and it's supposed to be motivational, but it's just like, these are just words. This is a man screaming, quoting these affirmations and this, that, and the third. Like, these are all just things just to do, but they have no feeling attached to it until you become that person in the moment and you're doing it. It's just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing it. Like, for instance, for sit ups and push ups and any workout activity that you're doing, the motivation is I'm already doing it. I'm doing it. So let me just continue to do it. Like, oh, I got five more. I got four more. I got three more. That motivation is you're already in it. You already have that drive. You already have that thrill. That let me keep going. The wheels are already turning. Motivation is just that, ooh, that spark, that Red Bull, that Celsius, that pick me up to keep going and not give up because the end is very much near. That is what motivation is. Motivation is your Red Bull. It is your energy drink to push you just a little bit further to your end because you are your discipline has got you so far. Your consistency has got you so far. Now I need some feel good. Because consistency and discipline they don't have any feeling attached to it. But 9 out of 10, it ain't. If you had to attach a feeling to it, it ain't gonna be a good feeling. Because it's just like structure. Structure does not always feel good. Not all the time. I want to walk this straight line. Not all the time. I want to do this and do that and da 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 boom boom boom. All the time I don't want to follow these things, but these things are in place to help me get to my goal, help me move forward, help me do what I have to do. And that's simply what it is you gotta do. You gotta have the structure, you gotta have the discipline, you gotta have the motivation. And that is my little nugget that I dropped this Friday, because today is Friday. I dropped it Friday, and it was an eye opener, and along with not seeing the data, along with not having realistic goals, motivation is definitely going to keep you driven. It's going to keep you going, going to keep you moving towards what it is you got to do. And it's just very much that simple. And another thing I wanted to talk about was communication. Communication. And I was having a conversation with my mom, and we was talking about something that my little brother, my middle brother, wanted to do, blah blah blah. And he asked me, and I'm just like, well, blah blah blah, what's going on? And I asked him, well, when was the last time you spoke about it, or when was the last time, were you detailed in it when the initial conversation came up? No, I wasn't. Okay, all right. Well, this is how we are here. This is where we are now. So I think communication is really really important, and this is coming from a person that uh is not the most detailed communicator when it comes to certain subjects or topics. And I would only say that, honestly, I would only say I'm bad at communicating when it comes to my partner, because work, family, and every other arena, like, I'm pretty much on top of it. It's just something that I have to do, like, and I guess that is what, if I think about it, that's why I feel like I shouldn't, or I don't need to, because we have this assumption that, or not even assumption, I have this expectation that, you know, my partner should know these things, or my partner should do these things, or whatever. But not to get ahead of the conversation, whatever, we were talking about it, whatever, and I said I said something to her. I said to her, um, I said, well, we weren't raised with being able to, effectively communicate. And there was no shade to her. Like, that's just not something that, was a thing, to be able to talk back to your parents. Not saying in a rude way or anything like that, or it's to voice an opinion. Those things were not something so welcomed in the black community. And it's just like stay in a child's place, or watch who you talking to, type of thing, or you don't get to have these feelings, or you don't get to do this. You're the child, I'm the adult, this type of thing, or whatever. And her response was, I feel like black people in general just don't have good communication. And she references to some of her clients, because her transportation clients, and the ones that do not communicate effectively or properly, or have the lack thereof, is her black customers, her black clients. And I was like, wow, that's something interesting. And it can definitely not just be, I'm sure it's not focused, or just, what's how I want to say this. It's not just alone the black community, but being that I am black, we are black, and we experience it mostly from the back. It's highlighted to us that people in our community don't know how to effectively communicate, and or fearful of communication, or feel like if they say this or they say that, something negative was going to happen. A lot of reasons for me not communicating was the fear of confrontation. I'm not a confrontational person. I do not want to confront or be in conflict with anyone that is dear to me. I just feel like, what is it? What's the word? I see it. I see the word. I see the word, but I can't get it right now. But God dog it. I just think that it should be like a mind reading type of thing. Like, oh, you should just know these things. You should, and that's not fair, and that's not real. That's not a real expectation. That's not a real thing to happen for people. People need to know, because something I've said before, and something I've learned, you don't know what you don't know. And it may sound really simple, but it's really it may sound deep, sorry, but it's really a simple concept. You don't know what you don't know. When you start a new job, you don't know what it is that you don't know about the job. Like, you don't know how deep the job goes. You don't know what it takes to get to certain jobs. You don't know these tasks that you need to do. You don't know what you don't know, because this is something that is unfamiliar to you. So it's always perfect. It's always good to ask questions. And I know they've said, we've heard it growing up, there are no dumb questions. There are no stupid questions. Ask questions, because what's the worst that a person can do or say to you when you ask a question? Just give you an answer, or don't give you an answer. And if you don't get an answer for there, you can always redirect and find another, approach to getting an answer to whatever it is you need. I'm very strong on the belief that no is not denial; it's just redirection. It doesn't mean that this isn't for me. It doesn't mean that you know I'm never gonna get the answer to this. I just need to find a different way to find that answer. Redirection. It's a pivot. It's a change. It happens to everyone in every aspect of their life at some point in their life, that you're not going to get the answer that you believe that you desire or that you think you need it, or you're just not going to get an answer at all. And you have to change your approach to it, change the way you get the answer to that question. And it can sound easy, but it can also be frustrating, because it's just like, how do I ask the same question in a different way? A lot of people ask the same question the same way, and they say if you keep doing the same thing expecting different results, they call that insanity. But communication, effective communication, when it comes to your work, your job, your partner, is really about listening to respond, not listening to react. How do you listen to react and not listen to respond? You get in an argument, you get in a disagreement, and this person is giving you their grievances, and you don't hear nothing you say. You just heard probably something negative that they said, and boom, you just react. The first thing that come to your mind, or the first rebuttal you have, you say towards that subject, and that doesn't solve anything. It actually creates a bigger fire. So listening to respond is like actually listening to what this person has have to say, like seeing what this person have to say, so that you create that safe space to be like, okay, you know what, you feel this way, and you're okay to feel that way. This is how I want to respond to this. This is what I feel is the best approach to it from my way. And not saying that everyone has the best way, or there is one correct way in how to communicate, because it's not. If we being honest with ourselves, it's not. There is no one way to communicate effectively. Listening is a big key. Comprehending is comprehending is a big key. And you're not listening to convert or to convert. You're not listening to convert someone to have the same perspective as you. You're listening to understand the person's perspective, knowing what that person is trying to say to you, and how do you respond to it. So that ties into communicating, as far as like you're not afraid to, when you effectively communicate, you're not afraid of just having a conversation, regardless if the conversation is uncomfortable, or regardless if the conversation is not a conversation you would like to have. When you speak to comprehend, you speak to hear what the person is saying, and you're listening to what they're saying. You're not trying to find a way to rebuttal. You're not trying to find a way to rebuke, or to convert, or to change their mind. You're trying to have a conversation so that you guys are able to weave together your perspectives. And there are going to be times where you're not going to be able to weave, you're not going to be able to agree, but you should see, or you should get that person's perspective, even if you don't agree. What Monique say? That's what I hear when I say that. But even if you don't agree with a person's perspective, it's okay to see from their angle, or their way of how they see, or how it affected them. It doesn't mean that I agree with it. Just because from your side you see a blue cat, and that blue cat hit a yellow rat, and the yellow rat made the butterfly green. All right, I don't think that's how that happened. I don't think that's where that came from. But I see your perspective. I don't agree with your perspective, but I see it. I see it. And I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to disagree with you. I don't have to fall out with you over not agreeing on one subject, or not agreeing on it. It doesn't have to turn big. It doesn't have to turn bad. It's just we agree to disagree. We're not going to agree on this. We're not our school of thought is not going to align on this. So it's really really important. Hmm, it's really important, and it's really critical when you're communicating and how you communicate. I'm really big on, don't watch how you come at me. Watch how you come at me. Don't I have literally ended friendships because of how a person comes at me, because I feel as if your delivery can very much hinder your message. Your delivery and the messenger can hinder your message. You come at me, say for instance, I feel like this is a perfect example when it comes to kids and to families and to things that are dear to us. If you come at me in a polite, mannerable, unaccusatory way, when you bring that subject to me, it's not gonna be me defensive. It's gonna be like, oh, I didn't, that wasn't brought to my attention. All right, well let's talk about it. Let's see what's going on. Like accusing someone, coming at them like they're a child, belittling a person, like all these negative ways of talking to people, it costs you nothing to be kind. You get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. So if I talk nice to you, if I speak to you well, if my tone, listen, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. If my tone is jacked up, my tone and the delivery, don't worry about it. I ain't got nothing to say to you. I got an attitude, and you talking to a brick wall. You talking to a brick wall. It's not happening. I ain't hearing nothing you are saying to me. Kill it. It's dead. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't matter what you try to say to me. You could try to tell me that my baby got a rash or my something. You could have been trying to tell me something important, but because you came at me with a disgusting tone, with a nasty delivery, with a disrespectful approach, oh, you can kiss my rabbits. You can kiss it because I heard nothing. My defense is now up because you come at me with what they call that, a battle axe, or what's it, a battering ram? I think that's what it's called. Who you talking to? What? Who you talking to? Fuck all that. Like I ain't trying to hear any of that, you know. And it's very much how you deliver a message. Just by you know, just how like if there is something going on in the person, like in the appearance or the smell, how you deliver that message and the tone of that message pretty much will help them receive it better. Say for instance your friend got a smell or your somebody you know got a smell or a booger. It's just, hey, um, you know, it's a I don't mean no disrespect in what I'm finna say, but I think it's something going on. Like there may be, that may be, something going on. We may need to figure out what's going on. Like there's an odor. Like I don't know where it's coming from, but I smell something. You smell something? Little funny ways. Funny, polite, nice ways of how you deliver a message and how you say a message. Like last night, me and my friends, we went to Thick Thursdays in Miami, Florida. And there were exotic dancers in this venue. hmm and there were workers in this venue. And I'm we in a little area, sitting down, chilling, taking shots and two stepping and gyrating and stuff, to the music or whatever. So I get a little tired, so I sit down. Funny story. So I sit down, and this lady comes to me. I'm fly. Like I don't step out every now and then, but when I do, I try to make sure I look a little something, something. A little something, something. Because my mama always taught me you never walk out the door looking any kind of way. So I went outside looking like something. Something real good, something real nice. So I sat down. I'm sitting downstairs, and my friends are sitting upstairs. And this woman comes and approaches me. And she was just like, "Ooh, Poppy, you so sexy, you so sexy, Poppy." And I'm just like, "Oh, thank you so much. Like I appreciate it. I thank you." But this woman has been sitting over here for a while, and she got on her attire of the uniform for exotic dancers. Mind you, we didn't even know this was going on there when we got there. That's just a disclaimer. So that was just like, "Oh, this is what we doing." I thought it was just like a a lounge club type of thing, but for the exotic naked hustle people was there, or whatever. So she says that, and I say, "Oh, thank you so much." Like, and I'm just how I just said, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you." Like, thank you. So she's on my left side. So, cool. Like, I'm going back to bobbing my head, listening to the music, and she come on to my right side, and she was like, "Papi, I want to do something sexy for you. I want to do something." I say, "Oh." I said, I said, "Oh, oh, no, 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 no. It's okay. No, 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 no. I'm gay. It's fine. I don't want anything that you're trying to provide to me." And she's just like, "Oh, oh, oh, no, no, no. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." I'm just like, "Nah, it's okay. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, it's nothing. It's not a big deal." And all I hear in the back of me is just this cackling, just this kiki, just like going in. So I look back and I look at my friend Brittany, and she is just a crying, laughing. So I say, "You sent that woman to work on you sent that woman to work on me?" She said, "No, I promise you I did. That's what making so much funnier." But it really tickled me that this woman, she wasn't rude, she wasn't disrespectful, she wasn't, overbearing, anything like that. She was very polite and she respected my answer. Um, and my point in the story was, it's a funny story, and for two, just like I could have been like, "Yo, get the f around me," da da da. Like I could have went off, like my delivery could have been wrong, like I could have approached this situation and communicated to this lady in a very disgusting manner, but I didn't. I'm a person that I try to be very mindful of how I talk to you, because I don't want nobody talking to me any kind of way. And what's crazy, now that we go into that, is people always say, treat people how you want to be treated. And it's just like, I don't think people really think about that. I don't think people really sit and hone on to that and keep it, deep inside, that if I treat you like this, I'm telling you it's okay to treat me like this. And no, it's not okay for you to come at me any kind of way. It's not okay for you to be disrespectful to me. It's not okay for you to come at me and try to, what I'm saying, use your words and use them correctly and use them properly, so that we can both efficiently discuss or have some type of dialogue. Because if you come at me wrong, it's all communication is shut down. I used to be a shutdowner. I used to be a shutdowner. I used to be a shutdowner. I did not like to communicate. I did not like to talk. You know, either you read my mind or you don't, or get out my face. It's really just that simple. And I don't know where that came from. I do know where it came from. It came from my childhood. But I ain't blaming that or anything. It's because you're when you get older and you become aware, you have to unlearn these bad ways, these toxic habits. You have to unlearn them. So I very much did unlearn it. And I began to communicate, and it was very uncomfortable in the beginning. Trying something new or doing something new or unlearning a bad habit is very uncomfortable. I gotta tell you, it's very uncomfortable. It makes it. I would describe it as just feeling icky and ishy on the inside, because it's just like, why am I expressing all these things, and why am I using these words to say this? And I don't know. It's just a lot that I guess it's not being tapped into. So when you get into it and you start discussing and dialoguing and being expressive and using words and not just saying "I feel a way" or things like that, like it makes you uncomfortable in a sense of vulnerability. That's what it is. That's what it is. You become vulnerable because you're expressing and showing sides of you that you have typically you wouldn't have to, or you don't do, because that's either just the way you was, or that's just the way it is. Um, and that's not weird, but it's very common that people don't express themselves. It's very common that people don't want to be vulnerable. It's very common because the whole "I'm a simp" culture is frowned upon. Like, ugh, like you ain't gonna get over on me. And what I've come to learn is no one can ever get over on you. They just miss out on their blessings. They fumble the bag, they fumble your good heart, and you just react and you respond accordingly. So, you know, it's okay to communicate. communicate. It's okay to discuss. It's okay to effectively express how you feel. And that definitely comes with uncomfortable conversations, because uncomfortable conversations is how you grow. It's how you develop the skill to dialogue, the skill to talk, the skill to make sure you're getting your point across and that person getting their point across and you're being heard and you're not screaming and shouting. Uncomfortable conversations have the ickiest feeling in the world, and it's something you dread to have, but you gotta have them, because those areas need to be touched. They need to be tapped into. They need to be explored so that you're able to live a balanced life. You're able to to grow in all areas of your life, because you don't want to grow in one area, not the other. I have to have uncomfortable conversations all the time with people in my line of work, because I direct a team, and it's really important that I be mindful that yes, I have to deliver this message, but how do I deliver this message? I've been told I have a sandwich effect when it comes to communicating, and I don't know where I learned that from. Probably somewhere along in my career, but it's a good approach. And the sandwich method for communicating is layers. You have a good thing. You start off with a good thing. You come in there with the uncomfortable topic or the subject at hand that is not a good thing. It's healthy. Yeah, it's a healthy thing. Like you know, and then you close it with a however this and that. You know what I'm saying? You're acknowledging. So you start off with something great. Hey, this was amazing. Thank you for. I'll give you an example. Thank you for all your good work. No, no, no. Let's see. I can give you a real life example. Um, at my job, there was a staff member that missed an important mandatory meeting. Boom. Message was communicated via WhatsApp on multiple occasions. However, that person did not come. That person tells me in real time, "Oh, I was not aware." Okay. The uncomfortable conversation was I have to deliver a coach and counseling because it was mandatory. There was no exceptions unless communicated directly and prior to the meeting, not the day of, whatever. Do it, and I started off with hey, how you doing? How your day going? Whatever. This is before I even get to the matter at hand. I prepared it. I layered it throughout the day. So it's like, hey, let's have a conversation. Um, you know, uh, what did I say? This was a little different because what did I say? I think I started off with something like, I don't really want to do this, because I do like you. Like you're a great worker. Um, you do what you gotta do. You're a team player and things like that. But there is something that we need to address. Um, this happened. It was communicated to you. It was lying out the line actions of what was missed and how it was missed, and it was just like, listen, I know this won't happen again, or I don't look forward to this happening again. If there's anything you may need for me so this don't happen again, let me know. You know what I'm saying? This is not a reflection of your overall performance or your overall look or grade or score. So my way of doing things is tell you something nice, give you something bad, tell you something nice again. You know what I'm saying? Like I deliver it in where I'm not starting off cutting the wound wide open, and I'm not leaving the wound open. I'm opening. I'm preparing the safe space, giving us, a platform, and then I cut you a little bit, just cut you so real nice, real quick. You won't even feel it, and then I bandage it up, and with a good thing. So it's really, really, it helps for me. It helps with my friends as well. We could be talking about something or something I probably wouldn't agree with, or something that one of them did, and that was not cool or was not it. It was just like, girl, I see where you're coming from with that, and I understand it. But I don't think I would have. I don't think that was the best way to handle that. Like you was dead wrong. You was dead ass wrong for that. Da da da. Whatever. However, I understand everybody's entitled to how they feel. Da 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 da. Whatever. Whatever. So your feelings are valid, but that was dead wrong. know what I'm saying? It's always a layered thing. It's always a good, bad, good. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stick beside my friends, because listen, shit happens. And when you effectively communicate and you really talk to a person and you really hear them out and see where they're coming from, what their angle is, it really clears up a lot of things. It really airs out a lot of things. It keeps the friendship, it keeps the line of communication clear because you have the expectations now that anytime there is something that ails me or ails you, ail you, ails you, you're not going to be afraid to come and tell me because I know this is not going to go south. I know this is not going to go negative. I know they're not going to take the defense. I know they're not going to do the victim role, anything like that, because we have built a culture to where you come to me with how you feel. You come to me with a correct tone. You come to me using the sandwich method. You come to me and you express how you're feeling and how it affected you, and give me the opportunity to either assure you, respond to you, or we dialogue about what it is. And even if we agree to disagree, we not ending it on bad bloods because this is what people do. They communicate, they talk it out, they express, they become vulnerable, they air out their grievances so that you're able to see exactly what's going on. How did we get here? Okay, we got here. How did we get to this point, Lee? How do we close this up? How do we move forward? So it's really, 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 really important that in every arena of your life, your relationship with your family, your friends, your partner, your coworkers, um, yourself, that you give yourself that proper, effective way of communicating, hearing, understanding, comprehending, comprehending. Listen to what these people are trying to tell you. Listen to what is the conversation at hand. Don't overlook. Don't try to pick things from what they're not saying. Listen to the words that are coming out of their mouth into your ear, processing through your brain. I was in the car. We're going to the fair, and my nephew, he's 4 years old. He's trying to tell me something. Trying to tell me something. He was like, "Uncle, listen with your brain. Listen to your brain." And I'm like, well, my brain doesn't understand you. That's why I'm asking you these questions so that I can listen with my brain. And he was like, listen, Uncle, listen with your brain. And I thought it was just so cute because I've never heard a 4-year old ever say, listen with your brain. First of all, where did you even hear that from? So another time, we on our way back from the fair, and him and his brother in the back talking, and he just like, KJ, listen with your brain. Use your brain. Use your brain. And I'm just like, if kids understand the concept of comprehending, how are us as adults, how is us as a people so screwed up and messed up in comprehending and effectively communicating our feelings and understanding other people's feelings? Because this is not nothing foreign to us. You know what I'm saying? If we set aside the factors of pride, shame, fear, hesitation, or procrastination, we're able to dive into a topic, communicate, not offend, and resolve something. You know, not everything is a fallout. Things simply could just be a uncomfortable conversation that just needs both of y'all to have grace with each other and ease on through. Ease on down the road. Like it's really not as complicated as we've made it to be when it comes to communicating. And sometimes we have to talk about a thing more than one time. I've come to learn that some people express or handle certain things by just speaking on it more than one time. They need to vent, they need to let it out. A rule of thumb for working in hospitality when it comes to a guest that has a problem is allow that person to vent. This guest comes to my front desk and he tells me he's upset, he's angry, da da da. My job is not to shut him down. My job is to hear him, listen to him. When I'm listening to him, I'm trying to understand and comprehend, putting myself in his shoes. Now that I put myself in his shoes, now I'm gonna go ahead and gauge and see how I can help, or how can I respond, or how do I respond. How do I respond? I validate everything they've said. I acknowledge everything that they've said. Once I've acknowledged what they said, I go ahead and apologize. After I apologize for whatever the issue was, even if it's not, and that's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do. Even if the intent is not to offend, or the intent was never to hurt or to misuse or whatever, the intent of it was never negative, you still gotta swallow that bullet and apologize, because the way that person understood and perceived it, it didn't come out that way that you wanted it to come out. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that you are a terrible person because you're apologizing for how someone perceived something, or how it was delivered, or how they received it. It's, hey, that was not the intent that I was going with. I do understand you saying this back to me. Da 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 da. How can we make this right? How can we fix this? Where do we go from here? And when you understand that it's never personal, sometimes it is. Sometimes it is personal. I'm sorry, I'll take that back. When you understand that it's not as deep, even when it being principle, if you hear what that person is saying and you clearly comprehend, acknowledge it. We when communicating, you have to acknowledge that person's feelings, grievances, and how you offended them, regardless if it wasn't even your intent. That was not my intent. I do apologize. I was not even trying to, that was not it. So I'm gonna own that. Taking accountability. Taking accountability. Taking accountability. I'm gonna own that because you're my friend, or you're someone that I value, and I know we can go somewhere from this. I know we can get past this. Let me go ahead and own it, and you'll understand my character better. Because when you communicate a person, this is tying into some very important parts. When you communicate effectively and you comprehend the person, that person is able to see your character. They're able to see your integrity. They're able to see your nature and see, okay, he's not that type of person. They're not that type of person. Oh, all right. So the next time something else comes around, they probably won't even take offense to it because they've learned you. They see you. They know that they don't have ill will for me. They listened to me. They heard me out. We addressed it. We talked about it. We communicated about it. Communication is important. Communication is very, very important, and it's key. Communication is key. Comprehending is key. Effective communication is a goal. It's an understanding. Just like emotional intelligence, it's a goal. It's a standard to be able to approach things in the right manner and deal with them in the right manner. I've talked your ears out for so long, or off. Sorry, I've talked your ears off for so long. Um, and I'm just trying to keep it brief to like 30 minutes. So I do apologize for going over. But sometimes I get like caught up in it, and I just get the going and get the going. So are we gonna give ourselves a break next week? Hmm. 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 I don't know. I don't know. What I'm gonna say is, nah, we're not gonna give ourselves a break. We're on the road. So see you next Friday. Well, with it being Friday today, I posted on Saturday. So next Saturday, you'll hear me again, and we just gonna be chatting it up, talking it up. Listen, I am being realistic with myself and being accountable with myself, and I'm just doing the work. You just gotta do the work. That's it. Whatever it is in your life that you are discouraged about, that you want to achieve, or that you want to tackle or do the work. Do the work is more than just doing. It's also doing your research. It's also connecting to other people. It's also networking. Do the work. Invest in yourself. Be inquisitive. Ask these questions. Look up these things. You know. So much love, and gently, always gently push yourself to the next phase in your life, the next chapter in your life, the next goal, the next milestone, the next marker. Gently, gracefully, be kind to yourself. I love you guys. Until next week, be safe. Have a great week. And I'll see you next time.